Hi, everybody. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. I'm not sure where Annette is. We'll just hang in there and hopefully she'll be here in a few minutes. I hope everybody's having a beautiful day. And hi, Donna. Hi, Janet. Nice to see you. Wonderful to see you. Um, so, uh, yeah, I was supposed to go on Annette's channel, but Annette has an issue, so I said I'd come on mine and would broadcast here. So I'm hoping she'll get here real soon. If not, I guess I'll wing it and do readings. I don't know what else to do. Anyway, hello, Kelly. Thank you for looking at that email that I sent you. Hi, Rossi. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. How is everybody doing on this beautiful day in October? Yeah, I caught the news this morning. And apparently Netanyahu has killed the head of Hamas and claiming victory. Meanwhile, the people are in the streets in Israel saying no more war, no more, no more. And I can't blame them. Everything's such a mess, honest to God. Anyway, I don't know if anybody caught it last night, but Kamala was on with Brett Baer. I think that's how you say his name, on Fox, and she stood really firm with him. He was, invoking the word Trump over and over again, and how President Trump this and President Trump that. And I just say, you're talking to Kamala. Let's. And she did a fabulous job. In the meantime, on the other side of things, Univision had a Q&A down in Tampa, and while we were in Tampa, this guy stood up and he said he was a Republican, and he wasn't registered anymore because of what Trump had done in the past. And he asked him a bunch of questions in which you can imagine the old dancing dude evaded. And of course, he has 97% of all of his administration backing him, which is not true. None of it's true. It's all an illusion. Hi, Jill. Yes. Hi, Rose Allen. Thanks for being here. Yeah, Annette may be on the wrong link for some reason. They canceled the link with me and they asked me to be here. So I don't know. Hopefully she is going to be here very soon. But thanks for letting me know. Yeah. It was set up that way until last night. So then they asked me to change it. So that's what I did. But we're happy to have you here, Rose. Thank you for being here. Teresa Hadarian, you got your internet back. Yay. Oh, good. Yeah, you reach out to me. I'll be happy to do that for you, Teresa. I hope everything else is okay in your world. Jill Sinanan, Wonder Woman. I had posted that Keith watches Linda G every day and has subscribed to her forever. And oh, thanks, Terry. Okay, Terry, no problem. I can wing it until she gets here. I appreciate it. What was I? Oh, so Keith was saying he went on to see Linda G this morning and he was unsubscribed. And that's what I keep telling everybody. They just he watches her every day. Every single day. There's no reason. And I know she didn't unsubscribe him, so he had to resubscribe. So that's why I've got this set at subscriber only. Okay, so there you go. Hi, Annie. And Mimi, you just heard 45 is begging Chutkin for a stay and releasing the appendix. Oh, come on. Really? Oh, here she comes.
Sorry, I don't know. I'm using my phone because things weren't connecting.
I'm sorry. Okay, I figured something was going on. Anyway, yeah.
Maybe
Welcome, Annette. Welcome,
should-
Annette. Everybody's here already. So yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Maybe I should pay my bill.
At least you got the lights on. You got the lights on. That's one big thing.
There's something quirky going on with the Wi-Fi. It started a few hours ago, so that's why I'm on my phone. So everything's really teeny.
You have a pretty good. We can see you fairly well, so I'm glad that that's working out.
Okay, I can
Maybe for you
barely
though.
see you.
Yeah.
I'll do my
Yeah.
best.
Yeah. Yeah. Rose Allen
How,
says, "There's our girl." Yeah. Yeah. You had some
how is
folks coming in
things?
already. Yeah.
We're on a full moon, like right now, I think.
We are. We
Hang
are,
on a
Annette.
second.
Yeah.
It's
Take your time.
it's at 7:26.
Oh,
No,
tonight.
wait. No. AM. So yeah, that's Eastern
Oh,
time.
okay. So
We're in
everything's
a full
wonky.
moon.
Yep.
We're,
That's
we're in it.
why. That's why.
Oh,
All
I
the
just
crazies come
remembered.
up.
I have my crystal ball on the porch.
Oh, okay. So you can get a, you know what I didn't know, Annette, was that during a moon eclipse, you're not supposed to leave your stuff out. And I didn't know
It's
that.
not an eclipse. It's just a full moon. Hang on a second.
No, I know this time it is, but I mean, I
I
found
have to
out
go
last
grab it.
time. Yeah. Last time it was an eclipse. So yeah. Yeah. Anyway, cool. No, it's great. Hello
Yeah,
to Rachel.
we're feeling the eclipse energy still.
We are.
Has
We are.
anybody noticed?
Yeah, things are a little wonky. That's for sure. That's for sure. Especially leading up to it. Did you notice? Now she's gone. Oh, she went like this. Yeah. Anyway, we'll get her back. We'll get her back. Hi, Vicky. Hi, Craig. Hi, Paul. Oh, enjoy yourself, Paul. Yes. The working link is in the description box. That's true. Hi, Annie Bear. And Vicky, I believe it. I was tired. Hi, Chick from Ohio. Oh, yes, the loser was trying to pay off Stormy again. I saw that, Rose. Yeah. Yep. Hopefully she'll get back here in a minute. But yeah, the full moon is wonky. Here she comes. Here she comes.
It must have been the crystal ball.
Maybe that's what it is. You know, my brother had a crystal near his computer for a period of time, and he wiped the whole computer. The whole computer got completely wiped because this crystal was hanging around his computer. Isn't that crazy?
I've never heard of that. I
hadn't either.
All over.
Yeah, I hadn't either. So, Annette, you're in charge, really. I can click off if people want readings, but yeah, you're the one.
Look out. You don't know what you're saying right now. How are you? What's going on in your life?
I'm doing fairly well. I'm teaching about 12 classes right now, so that's a little wonky, but just hanging in there. I try to do one day at a time. That's the only thing I can do. But how about yourself? I heard you wrote another song.
I did, yeah. Are you teaching on Zoom or are you teaching in person?
Some of the time it's on Zoom and some of the time it's just online. So it's like an online class where you don't have to meet. Yeah.
Excellent. I love teaching. Yes, I did write another song. I played it on Monday on my channel.
Oh, I'm going to have to go over and listen to it. That's wonderful, Annette. Your
creativity
is growing. Yeah.
It was just, I just played it live. I just wrote it, not this past Monday, but the Monday before. And I mentioned it, a couple times on my show. And then on the weekend, I kind of tweaked some things and changed some lyrics and, it's where I want it to be now, but I haven't recorded it yet.
Okay.
It's a song. It's called Dangerous Fences. And it's like a message to MAGA. And the chorus is really kind of sharp. It's like, not sharp like musically, but just, it's going to be
cuts to the chase.
Big drums in your face, like, stop it, wake up, be real.
Right.
What gives, like that.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm still pulling for your song to be picked up by Kamala.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to hit that really heavily this week. I'm going to reach out repeatedly to all the pro-democracy YouTube channels that have huge viewerships.
Yes.
That's kind of my my message from the guides.
Good. Oh, that's good. I love that, Annette. That's beautiful. Yeah.
Well, now is the time, right? I mean, the song was written, this January 6th song was written for right now. And now, I mean.
That's right. So. So a couple of things I was telling the folks before you got here. One of them was that she was on last night with Brett Baer on Fox, and she really held her own. OMG. I thought she was fabulous. Yeah. She really did. Meanwhile, he's talking to Univision and giving them all a big word salad. And
she is Kamala Harris, by the way, and
yes,
he is the loser.
The loser.
Let's not fall into the trap that he never calls her by her name. Really, he calls her by her name wrongly. But do you remember after the debate when he was being asked about the debate and here and there on Fox or whatever other shows he was on? He kept saying she. He never said.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He kept saying she did this, she did that. I'm like, what? Are you afraid of her? And the answer to that question is absolutely, he's afraid.
Oh yeah, he's terrified. He is. You can tell. Yeah, you can.
And for anybody that has a question in their mind of how to pronounce Kamala's name, remember this: calm.
Yep. Yep. Kamala. Yep.
Will be calm.
Well, it's really Pamela with a K is the other thing. So you can't really get it wrong if you think about it that way, right?
Well, so, it's not Pam, but it's not Pamela. It's unless you say Pamela.
Well, hers is like they have a shirt that says like a comma and then la. And I guess that's the way you're supposed to say it. Kamala. Yeah. Anyway.
You're a mess. You were in Massachusetts before we say boss. We say boss.
Right? Why don't you go down here and bang a Yui and go to the Packy?
Yeah, right. We say aunt. We don't say aunt, you know.
Well, everybody out here doesn't like it because I put a D on the end of ideas. I say ideas instead of ideas.
Ideas. Yeah, I have a good idea.
Yeah.
well, let's have some good ideas now. I think that we had talked last time about doing a show. Like we were just kind of talking because you know how psychics can be.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, someone to talk to about what I do. So I think that it would be a good idea to read on really pertinent things that are going on right now. There. I say it all the time. There's so much going on that we've got to dive into. And just as far as Kamala energetically, she's channeling a huge being of light. She's channeling some big, ginormous. I feel like it's like almost guru-like energy, very divine, feminine, strong. I see her as a queen in a past lifetime. A good, fair queen who cared about people. So she inherently has this sense of I need to take care of my kingdom. I'm talking about a past lifetime. I'm not talking about. I mean, here it's like Kamala Harris for the people. That's how she introduces herself in court. And in that lifetime, it was for the villagers, for the people of my kingdom. So she definitely came in with that leadership. I know how to do this. There is no question marks in her mind at all about her role that she's playing. But when I see her, I know what channeling looks like just through experience. She's channeling. Not to discredit her natural abilities and what she's
right. No, I get it.
Fairly earned.
Yeah.
But she's definitely lined up with something very, very spiritual.
She definitely is. And Brett said something to her on the clip that I saw, and it was denigrating. Oh, these people that are Trump supporters, and he was saying something about her denigrating them, and she says absolutely not. These are American people. I would never denigrate anybody. And that's how much she's got that warrior, as you say, but she's also got that, please don't tell me what I think.
Don't F with me. Don't F with me. And also what he was actually doing there was he was baiting her by saying, are they stupid? Like he was really being very slick and sly.
He was.
Because all he was looking for was that little sound bite, that little video clip where she would say yes,
Yeah.
or she would
Right.
nod, or
Mhm.
even if it was an understanding nod, like he was really looking for that little clip.
Mhm.
And he didn't get it. She's a prosecutor, for God's sake. She's been
I
in
know.
this work her entire life. She
Right.
knows when she's being like set
Yeah.
up
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
lied to, and when someone's attempting to deceive
Uh-huh. Nope,
and
you're
put on
absolutely right.
appearances. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable to watch. And the other thing that I see really clearly is like that big energy that I'm talking about that she's channeling with. These low lifes, and I'm just going to call them that because if you lie to the American people the way that they do on Fox News in a dangerous,
Yeah.
really dangerous way to all of our
Yeah.
lives,
Uh-huh.
you deserve that for one thing. And the other thing is that I see it that he didn't know what he was dealing with. Like they've been
Really.
lying so profusely for so long. They really are in their own little bubble. And
Yeah.
when truth hits them in the face, like she was doing, really like straight on,
Yeah.
direct, there's
Yeah.
no fogginess, there's no nothing like that. Straight on. He did you see him? I don't know if you watched the whole thing. I was actually doing a show during it, and
Okay.
I did a reading, even though I hadn't heard it on what the energy was. Did you see him recoil like a little boy?
No, I didn't, but I wouldn't be surprised.
He
He's
actually, at one point, he said,
wow.
"Yes, ma'am." He went, "Yes, ma'am."
Oh,
I almost fell off my
I
chair.
love that, Annette. I didn't see that
And
part.
he
That's
was, and his
wonderful.
eyes were kind of
Yeah.
going down, like I'm being caught. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm in. I could totally see his inner child in there. Like I'm in
Right.
trouble. My mom's got me in trouble. Like I knew I shouldn't have done this, but here I am doing it.
Yeah.
Before the, before I heard any video clips, because I was doing a show,
Mhm.
I felt like I picked up on the misogyny, and also just prior to that interview, I saw Brett really invested mentally, and I have to make up for what I did with Trump before by calling Arizona for Joe Biden.
Okay. I got you. Yeah, I totally agree.
And
I
he just,
totally
that was
agree.
his mindset. I have to
Right.
perform for the big orange Cheeto. I
Yeah.
know he probably doesn't think of him in those terms, but maybe he does. I also get about Brett Baird that he knows that he's doing wrong.
Don't they all in a way?
Yeah, but
I'm
he's a
wondering.
little bit more like, I want to say the way JD Vance used to be.
Okay.
JD
Okay.
Vance used to have a little smidgen of a conscience.
Right.
It's
Right.
been wiped. It's been wiped away.
Sure.
But JD
Sure.
Vance, I always, and I mention it all the time. I always feel JD Vance's grandfather as a spirit guide that's really not happy with him. I have no idea what their
Oh,
relationship was.
okay. Okay.
I don't know if you
Wow.
do.
Yeah. I'm not sure either. He had so many different relationships. He changed his name so many times. And so I'm not sure who it might have been, but he was probably his grandfather was probably. So you're saying he was probably more of a Democrat or a more liberal.
No,
More
I think I don't really know this factually. I need to look it up.
okay. Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
his grandfather was a church-going man.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You don't
Okay.
lie. If you're a good,
Yeah,
an actual Christian, you don't
that's
lie.
true. That's well. There is those before and after. I say, BT
Yeah,
and AT. Um,
yeah.
that yeah, yeah. Wow, wow.
So what do you find in the people ask you about to read on that
Um,
lately?
well, lately it's been last night when we were on, we weren't taking questions, but somebody wanted to know why what was it? Oh, about the money that Trump tried to give Stormy again. Did you hear
And
about
then
that?
that came up, and then that happened. How
Because
much
every
is that
day
so
it's
hard to?
something new. Yeah,
I need to
yeah.
take notes. I do. I need to
I
start taking
I agree.
notes.
No, I
Every
agree.
day we have like 8 to 10 new
We do.
breaking news stories.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I found out about that one late last night when I was just sort of drifting off, and I had some kind of a podcast on,
Uh-huh.
and I'd look it
Yep.
up, but I'm on my phone.
Yep.
And the news came in. A caller called in. It's kind of like a radio show, and broke the news that Rachel. I was confused because Rachel Maddow's show was on Mondays, and she was
Yes.
saying,
I guess
did
she came on to
Rachel?
break it. Yeah, she
Oh,
came
okay.
on to
So
break
she
it.
was
I think. Yeah.
popped in apparently,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was just trying to figure out the story because today I'm trying to catch up. Even though I stay abreast of everything, right? I'm still trying to catch up.
Right.
And it was like she owed the lawyers, I guess.
Yes.
And they were
Yes.
offering to reduce the amount that she owed, which is like a non-disclosure kind of agreement that they were
Oh,
trying to make with her.
I didn't hear about that part. I did know that they did a GoFundMe and she was able to pay the $100,000 to Trump from the trial that she owed him.
Yeah, the part
Because
about her owing her money,
right,
that's
right.
I'm
That got
very
took care of with
confused.
the GoFundMe, but I didn't know about this lawyer fee thing. I didn't know about that.
I'm
No.
very confused about that. So I do need to look
Okay.
into it further, but it's a
Okay.
repeat. It's a repeat of 2016.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. Oh, absolutely.
It's
There's so
the
much that's a
same
repeat.
crime.
Yep. There's so much that's a repeat. We've also got Trump asking Chutkan not to release the appendix before January 6th.
She's going
Or
to.
I hope so. I think she will. She's really gutsy. She and Kamala, honest to God, it's just you just know that he's got to be absolutely crackers because it's the women that have taken him down are all African American women. We've got what's her name in New York, Letitia James. We've got the gal in down in
Oh no,
oops,
with you. That
we
was
got
different.
the gal down in Georgia, and then we've got Kamala, and then we've got Chutkin. It's wonderful. It's like real poetic justice, I think.
It's time. Look at what they're doing to the women.
I know. I know.
It's really. I mean, other countries are looking at us, going, "Really, you're letting women die?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's out and out. I mean, he's a racist, but I actually feel like more than he's a horrible racist, and I actually feel like what's even more intense with him is the misogyny.
Oh, definitely. Yes. Yeah. He's
Like if
horrible
it
to
was an
women.
order of
Horrible.
intensity, it was like it would be
Mm.
misogyny top of the list. I don't know why
Right.
he hates women so much. Maybe he hated his mother. I'm not sure, but
Well, his mother left, was hospitalized or something like that when he was in his formative years. And I believe that's what Mary Trump's book said, and that when she finally did come home, he didn't see her as much as he needed to, or something like that. So there
I
is
know,
that.
I
Yeah.
know, I know, I know. I just to me it's confusing. As this is just me, it's confusing because he has like such a vitriolic hatred,
He
and
does.
you would think that a
Yeah.
man whose mother physically like abused him and beat him and everything would have that kind of rage.
Uh-huh. Yep. That's
But
right.
if
That's
the
right.
damage was kind of like neglect, it just seems like
Hmm.
the rage wouldn't be as intense. But that's just my perspective on it.
Hmm.
JD Vance's mother, he also hates women. Clearly,
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
amazed that he's married with children. But with him, his mother was a drug addict.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay.
And
That
maybe
makes sense.
maybe she physically harmed him. I'm just saying that I feel like if somebody was
Yeah.
actually physically beaten by their mother, it seems like that would kind of explain the level of rage that I'm feeling
Yeah. Yep.
from both of those men. Trump, if
Well,
with Trump, it's intense.
and his father, of course, was a narcissist, and Trump's a narcissist. Maybe his mother was too. I don't know, but when you grow up in that narcissistic arena, there isn't anything he can't that he can say nice about the American people. Even when he was in Pennsylvania with Corey Compatore's widow there, first it was me, 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 me. That was like the first 20 minutes of it, and then he brings up, oh yes, she's here, and
Yeah,
that he gave his life for our cause and all that crap, which is ridiculous.
The
And that the
whole,
Democrats are doing it, right? Oh my God.
he's a very, very, very sick man.
Well, definitely. It definitely is. And I believe he's also very, very sick. His heart is, he's got medical issues that he's
Yeah, that's
not.
what I'm saying. He's a
Yeah, yeah.
very, very, very sick
He's sick
man.
here and he's sick in his
Every
physical.
cell in his
Right.
being is very, very sick.
Yep.
How we are in America are in a place where that's a candidate for president when you would not let him work in a laundromat.
Anybody else? That's right. You're absolutely right.
30, if you fill out a job application, they want to know if you have any felonies.
That's right. And I'm guessing that after this is all said and done, there will be legislation that will be made fine that should have always been there, including there has to be.
I always like 5-6 years ago, people kept asking me why Trump, and I said, came to me clear as a bell, no hesitation. His soul's journey. He should have done better on his soul's journey. He didn't behave very well. He's not passing that test. But part of his soul's journey was to force us to make our democracy steely strong.
That's true.
And
I
you
mean,
look at
he
Kamala
doesn't know that,
Harris.
but yeah, I agree.
You look at Kamala Harris, and
Mhm.
that's steely strong. Did you see her with the Republicans yesterday?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Just chill bumps.
I love that she wants to bring them in a bipartisan sort of council, that she wants to work with them and when she gets in the White House. And that made me really happy that, she's seeing the value in hearing all the voices. And I think that's important. Yeah.
Well, and do you think that people are understanding that this has like 9/11? This is not about what party you're in.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, I do. Yep, I do. I see it. Yep.
You want to read on that to see if that's getting through?
That's fine. We can do that. Sure.
I won't be able to see anything, but you can tell me what you get.
That's okay. Yep. I am reading Bob Woodward's book, the new one, War. And the very beginning of the book, he talked about a interview that he did with Carl Bernstein and Donald Trump when Donald Trump was 45 years old in 1989. And
who's Bernstein?
He's the one. Woodward and Bernstein were the ones that broke the Watergate scandal.
I know Woodward, but I didn't know who.
Carl Bernstein was his writing partner at the Washington Post. So they both did that, and that was it was very interesting. And of course, he was more cogent at the time, meaning Trump was. If you look at him, even in 2016, he's not as crazy as he is now.
Do you have anybody in your life that has dementia?
I don't, but I have a very dear friend whose parent has dementia. So yes.
I'm just wondering if you've borne witness to the way it works.
I'm pretty much yes, but I know it takes its time. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I just know that there are, like, in the chat last night, like I'm going through that in my family with family members, just kind of caregiving. And fortunately, I have siblings, and it makes it easier. But if many people in the chat, we even did a group hug about it.
Wow. Yeah.
Most people in the chat were saying that they had a parent or an aunt or an uncle, or that they knew what vascular dementia is and what the symptoms are, and so we're watching. Those of us who have family members who have observed this are watching Trump going, yeah, that and that and that. And one of the things is it's kind of a persnickety thing, because they might be completely fine for a few hours, like they're normal, and then all of a sudden, with this particular family member, I won't divulge too much, thinks he's not home.
Sure.
So those kinds of
Delusions.
things. Now, what happened to Trump on the stage where he went, let's not take questions and
Let's
answers?
just dance. Yeah. Yeah.
And how many times he didn't know where he was?
Right. Right. He didn't. That's right. He said it many times. He's in Oklahoma and he says he's in somewhere else. Yeah.
Can you imagine not knowing
Yeah.
where you are? Can you
I
imagine that? Like, I don't
And
know
they're
where I
letting
am.
him do this. That's what makes me mad. That his people are just letting him crash and burn because their agenda is to get him in, do the 25th Amendment, and put in J.D. Vance. I
Well,
think.
that's obvious.
Yep. Wow.
That's obvious, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
It
are
is
we the only,
obvious.
are we the only ones that know that? Because it might be true
No.
that we're the only ones that know that.
No, I think a lot of people really do.
I saw that very clearly in the cards last night.
Yeah. Yep. The other thing is he had COVID, and remember how ridiculous he was about COVID, and he went to the hospital, but then he went home early, ripped his mask off. Ever since that, he's been worse as well, because that affects you. I'm sure he's got that effect because he didn't really take care of himself at all.
You know what? When that first, I remember it was October 1st,
Yes.
2020.
Uh-huh.
I remember the video that I did where I really predicted he was going to be dead.
Yes. We all
And
did, I think. We all thought he wasn't going to make it. Yeah.
Well, we read energy, right? So we're
Right.
reading his energy, and his energy was he's at death's door right
He was.
now.
Mm-hmm.
And he absolutely was. And then they had some kind of special drug cocktail that they had come up with. And that's the only reason, in Walter Reed Hospital, those are the only reasons that he survived. He's not physically healthy. And then how about when he wanted to go back to the White House and rip his mask off, and he also wanted to rip open his shirt to reveal a Superman shirt.
Right.
Yeah. That's a sick person.
It is. Absolutely. So the reading you wanted to do was on
are people becoming very aware of how unhealthy he is?
Okay.
And and because I was just kind of talking about that when we were talking about Kamala being in front of the Republicans,
Right.
and this is a 9/11 situation. It's very similar to a 9/11 situation because we can't look at each other as Republicans and Democrats. We have to look at each other like, I want to live and you want to live, right?
Right.
So we need to
That's right. Yeah.
So are you pulling cards?
I have some already. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. What you got?
So what I've got here is that people are right now just being in the flow. Some people that are undecided, they're not necessarily resisting, but every day we hear more and more people saying, especially people like leaders of the Republican Party, saying that they're voting for Kamala because he's crazy. So it's like they're waiting and they're watching, but it will be a natural movement because they're just watching and they're not liking what they see. And but a lot of them, it will be a double-edged sword. They won't realize it until much, much later because they are a member of the cult. And when you are a member of the cult leader takes over everything. And they aren't as educated, let's say, as other people. And you don't have to necessarily go to college or whatever to be educated. You just are an informed voter, and they're not that. And finally, I get many are feeling very powerless at this time, and I'm thinking that this actually is his people.
Is
They
that
don't know
handcuffs? Is that handcuffs?
That's right. Yep, that's handcuffs.
Well, don't you think that means he's going to jail?
Well, that too.
I mean, it's just
I don't know that he'll ever go to
there.
jail. I don't know if he'll ever go to jail, but I believe he'll be in a room somewhere with a monitor on his leg. You know what I mean? Or, he'll be watched. He won't be able to go anywhere eventually. That's kind of what I feel.
And what you mentioned, double-edged sword, is that the Two of Swords?
This is just a sword, double swords,
Oh,
and
it's
on
not.
here it says calling out injustice.
So
Calling out
that's
injustice.
not the Two of Swords in the
No,
tarot,
these
right?
are oracle cards I have. These are
Oh, okay.
oracles. Yep.
All right. So what?
Yeah,
So you meant? What did you mean by double-edged sword? I kind of missed that. Sorry.
that's okay. They are seeing there's a lot of conflict, there's a lot of aggression going on, and I will tell you this: a friend of mine goes by a property that had a big billboard that said Donald Trump and had all the flags and all that. And every time she goes by it, she blesses the house, and she also runs her rosary beads. And
Yeah.
yesterday, after 2 months of seeing this, the signs are gone.
I love that. I love. Where's my bell?
I had to I
Yay!
had to pass that along because it was so incredible. And it shows the power of prayer, but it also shows that things are moving, the fluidity is moving, and people are waking up, I think. So what
I'm
do you
still
guys?
working. There's a couple of houses I'm still working on psyching them out.
Good for you. Yep.
Like one I've been working on for like 3 years.
Oh,
maybe longer.
sometimes they're pretty enculturated then. They like what they like. Yeah.
I mentioned yesterday on PNN that I went by this house, Manchester by the Sea.
Oh yeah.
So
Beautiful.
I'm going through a beautiful scenic drive, and there's a huge multi-million-dollar mansion. Just how the houses are there because you've
Yeah.
lived around here,
Yeah.
and big giant signs. Trump is my president. Jesus is my savior. I'm like,
Oh, thank God
Kool-Aid.
Jesus is your savior. You'll need it.
Or how about, I'm not going to mention names, and I actually don't know the names, but there are psychics that are pro-Trump psychics on YouTube that
I
have
know.
like millions of viewers that
Yeah.
actually behave as though they're channeling God. I'm sorry, it's just so ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. I never heard of that.
They're
Oh, that's awful.
channeling God and
Uh-huh.
literally saying, "My David, they'll persecute you and you'll go through all this, it's going to be so hard, but you are my son and I will save you." I'm like, what? And these people have millions of views. You know how much I complain about like YouTube shadow blocking me?
Yeah. Yep. 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 Why? Yeah.
They don't
It
shadow
really
block
is.
them.
No, I know.
Did you hear what Trump said at that economic summit, whatever it was, interview with Bloomberg?
Well,
When the
I heard
guy asked him,
what did he ask him on that
he
one?
asked him, he asked him about should Google be, I don't know, like held accountable, something to that effect.
Right.
And speaking of the dementia, Trump sat there for a few seconds and then he went, "You know what I can't get out of my mind? In Virginia, the deal," and he starts talking about the voting rolls
Uh-huh.
or voter rolls, like something about
Yep.
the voting and they're letting people vote. And you know how he does. I can't repeat what
Yeah.
he said because it didn't make
I
any
know.
sense and I don't even know how to recount it.
Right. Yep.
But that's that's what's going on.
Well, I know. Well, he's saying he's going to weaponize the Justice Department and kill people and have and what's his name, Stephen Miller, the wingnut. We're going to have trials. We're going to execute people. That's a threat.
I
Why
wanted to
is
hear
that
what he had to say about breaking up Google. That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah. Yep.
I couldn't get the answer because he went off on a
He wouldn't
tangent.
give you it. True.
Google needs to be broken up.
Of course.
They're
Yes.
they're behaving like they're, with all this favoritism. I don't usually read my own tea leaves, but I read my tea leaves about it a little bit early and I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely going on for you.
Uh-huh.
Reading about my channel and stuff. It's definitely going on.
Yeah.
So as far as people kind of waking up, how's everyone doing in the chat? I can't see the chat at all.
Chat's doing well. Chat's doing well.
Yeah. All right. Flying blind a little bit, but I guess I have to call Comcast today and ask them how much I owe. Business has been way slow.
I know.
People waking up. What's going to do it is he's going to get really hurtful. he's going to get really hurtful.
Yep.
He's
Like
going
he
to
already is, but
go
worse. Yeah.
for, it's going to
Mhm.
get way worse.
Okay. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
agree with that.
I
Yeah.
hate to break it to you because it's been horrible, but he's going to really personally attack Americans verbally.
Uh-huh.
And I
Yeah.
thought I'd seen it all, but the card is saying, "Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I actually feel like he's going to call for an attack like January 6th.
Oh, I believe that. I do. As a matter of fact, did you hear about what was happening in North Carolina with the militias out to get FEMA?
Yeah, this is way
Yeah,
worse than that.
I know, but it reminds me of that kind of thing. Yeah. Okay.
And then the people will be they'll be forced to look at it
Yeah.
because it's so brazen and it's so
Yeah.
outrageous. It's so out of bounds. So I'm
Uh-huh.
not sure exactly what it's going to be, but it's going to make this resurgence of a new, basically a repeat of the Stormy Daniels payoff scandal.
Ah.
You
Okay.
know, voter suppression kind of, or what are they calling it? You know, it's manipulating the public. The whole
Yep.
Stormy Daniels thing.
Well, the other thing was,
Hiding the evidence.
I heard last night that he also 200,000 people were purged off the Virginia voter rolls, and it's gone to court, and they're going to reverse that. And he's
That's what
bullshit.
he was. That's what he
Yeah.
was. That's what he. They're asking him a question. This British guy's asking him a question from
Yeah.
Bloomberg.
Yeah.
Or he's from the Washington Post, maybe. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, he was asking him about Google and Trump. He ruminates. I don't even
Uh-huh.
think you heard the question. He's like, you know what's on my mind? It was the Virginia thing that you're talking about.
Right.
The King of Pentacles here is telling me that I actually feel like there's somebody younger than Trump. It feels like a prosecutor who's gonna read him the riot act, so to speak.
Ooh. Wow. Okay.
And this has to do with Elon also. I
That's
feel
the
like
other
Elon
thing. Yeah.
Musk is he's gonna be
Yeah.
Elon Musk is gonna be tried for international crimes
That doesn't
and war
surprise me. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
war crimes, although I don't know the exact definition of a war
Okay.
crime, but it feels like that.
Wow. 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 Wow.
It's huge. I really am. I'm amazed. And that so we're asking about what's going to happen to the populace in terms of how they're looking at Trump.
Uh-huh.
Now there are people that are not as stuck as somebody who's really susceptible to cult mind. The difference between what a real cult, a very tangible cult is, where you look at it and that's definitely a cult like Scientology or Jim Jones cult. The
Mhm.
difference is that these people aren't all living together. All the
Mhm.
cult members, all the Trump cult members, they're not all living like under the same roof, you know.
Right. Right.
In a cult, I mean, I know I mentioned before I had a family member in the 90s because the cults were huge in the 90s.
Yep. Yep.
They kept them living all together, dressed like Puritans, the
Sure.
women, and they had to
Keep
have
them controlled.
chaperone.
That's
Yeah,
right.
they had to have chaperone dates. So the difference between the Trump cult and other cults, most of them, is they usually keep them contained and under one roof or one, you know, like they had to have chaperone dates in this particular cult. So it was like their eyes will never be off of you. The thing about the Trump cult is these people live with their families and their neighbors and all that. So there's a little opportunity for a little crack of light to come in.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
You
I hear
know.
you. Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
I do see him coming out with something so brazenly awful and so offensive
Uh-huh.
that people wake up. I'm really kind of curious to know what it is.
Hmm.
Remember when he said I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue? How
Mm-hmm.
can he
Mm-hmm.
get that and get away with
Mm-hmm.
it? That's the kind of energy that he comes at this, whatever it is that he's going to do. With that kind of energy, I can get away with anything.
Yeah.
He's a very sick man.
That's very true.
Did I
Mousy
say
says,
that enough? Have I said that enough? He's so sick.
Mousy says, wish we could send him to Easter Island, but I wouldn't do that to Easter Island. So Easter Island.
Why Easter Island?
I don't know, because it's a remote place. I think that's what she's
Oh, I
talking
can
about.
think of many. I can think of many. Where'd they send Alexa Navalny?
Oh, yeah, it's way up in Siberia. Yeah, yeah.
I think about him every single day.
I do too. There's a new book coming out that apparently he was writing when he passed, and it's a memoir of him. And yeah, it's very sad.
Whenever I get like, oh, I just can't do this anymore. I just that man should be a saint.
I mean, the fact that he would have survived that whole thing and then gone back in. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't.
That's a different kind of a human. That's a different breed of human.
It is a different breed.
That's what saints are made of. I don't know if you have to be a Catholic to be, well, probably, because it's the Catholic Church that
that's true
canonizes saints, but so I guess it would have to be that. I'll have to look that up. Are there any canonized saints that weren't Catholic?
Anybody in the chat that's Catholic, if you have the answer, let us know. Yeah, let us know. We'd love to know.
All these things I need to Google.
Yeah.
Do you want to read on Kamala?
Sure, of course. That's fine.
You can go first. Like just how the campaign's going.
Okay.
I have these. My cards are so cute and little, which really is good.
What is that? Phone. What tarot deck is that you have, Annette? What tarot deck is that? The Dark Wood. Okay.
Do you have this one?
No, I don't. I'm not big on reading the tarot. I read oracles mostly. Yeah.
Oh, I had never heard of this one. I just picked it up in a bookstore. It's like, that is so cute.
It is. So I find this very interesting. I shuffled my cards, and I got here that she's like a soda bottle when you shake it up. She's just effervescent. I know she just had her health records released, and she's in perfect health.
Yeah,
she's perfectly mentally healthy. She's wonderful, and she is she's thirsty to get started as the president. Also, she is she expresses affection for others. You see her with the children.
Oh, it's genuine, yeah.
Yeah, you see her with the children, you see her with people that are having a hard time, and she's always loving and always charming. But this one really blew my mind because this is the third card, and it was the same card. So I'm feeling like right now she feels handcuffed because she is handcuffed, but not in the same way Trump is. She just wants to get going. And my worry is somebody said Joe Biden won't go out and work for her because they're trying to distance him from her so that if anybody didn't like Joe, that they wouldn't be influenced by him out on the campaign trail. So that's why he's not doing it as much for her. That's why she called in Obama and Clinton and a few others. But it says here, she honest echoes, listen to the whispers of your heart, for you know the whole truth. And I think we all know the whole truth. There's no doubt that this woman is the person that should be running our country. There's no doubt at all.
Yeah.
And she has no doubt either. She has no doubt.
Yeah, she's ordained. I think you know when you're really on your purpose.
Yeah.
I think there's no denying when you really just know that that's what it is.
Uh-huh.
And she's been training for her entire life, just like Joe Biden was.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So Charlie says the saint thing that you brought up, it isn't only Catholics, but I guess you have to be Christian. So if you are
so what I was asking was, does it extend beyond being Catholic? Can you be a saint? Yeah. So I guess so. Alexa,
just not. I guess
Alexa
not Jewish. Yeah. Yeah. That's all.
Alexa Navalny will be able to be canonized into sainthood. I really think that he should. I mean, I feel his energy when I think about him. I feel his energy, and he made me brave.
Yeah. Yep. That's true.
And the Ukrainians, Ukrainians have made me brave also.
And it's interesting because in Bob Woodard's book, we went over and told Zelensky this was going to happen. And Zelensky didn't believe it at first. that he would be invaded by Russia and that all this stuff would be going on. And he spells it out in how they worked with him to help him understand, and that they were going to try to kill him and so on. And so it's interesting because you watch the symbiotic relationship with Biden, and Kamala had a lot to do with Zelensky as well, but you don't hear that in the mainstream media. So
the mainstream media. Yeah, the mainstream media could not convey it. I mean, it's got to be brought to a seventh grade level.
Yeah, no, it's true.
I mean, I hate to say that, but it's like, unless you really have the interest and the willingness and the curiosity to educate yourself, and I just mean you in the general sense, right? Unless a person has that, unless a mass populace has that, I wish we did. I really wish we did. Where if we didn't know something about world history, we'd be like, I'm going to look that up. I want to understand that better.
Right.
If we were a populace that were in that place, things
They
would be really different. I mean, like, because
right.
you can talk and the complexities of the whole, like what's going on in the Middle East. I don't touch that topic because I'm not well versed in the history of the Middle East and what's going on. It does motivate me to find out more.
Yep. I get
what
you.
Kamala and Joe Biden are doing in the job of the president and vice president, unfortunately, the mainstream media would not report on it. And one of the reasons, there are many reasons, but one is that people would turn it off. Look at what happened to PBS.
Yep. I know.
People will turn it. Oh, what are they going to? The MAGAs call it too woke. So it has to be dumbed down. My point. This is my long way of saying that what Kamala and Joe Biden have done have kept the world from going into a really bad place.
Absolutely.
When we talk about war. And to add to that, if it weren't for Donald Trump, despite how he flips everything around, we wouldn't be where we are with these wars. He shut down the Iran nuclear deal. What? WTF?
Yeah, I know.
Well, when that happened, weren't you just like freaked out when he did that?
Of course.
I think we were so freaked out about so many things.
I know. Where does it end? You're right. So what did you get for Kamala? Yeah.
I do see her in my mind's eye. I have the movie in my mind of Inauguration Day. It's definitely her.
Yeah.
It's definitely her. I know that in the midterms in 2022, we were all very, very freaked out and worried about the potential for violence.
Yes.
Let's remember to pray. And I'm gonna before I pull these cards, I want to say something about, we were talking about dementia earlier. I have a family member who's very old, and vascular dementia is the case. And I had the people last night, we did a group hug for all those who have family members or have experienced this dementia. When I saw him last night, he was fine. After we did a group hug, and I was my dad, and I was struck by, I was like, wow, he seems really good.
It changes things. It does.
The reason that I'm telling you this is because I, who just, of course, believe in the power of prayer and intending and practice it regularly.
Right.
I was taken aback.
Yep. I understand.
And then I was like, well, we did that group hug for family members that we know that have dementia and they're struggling, or we did that group hug about that. And I saw a little miracle happen. I'm like, I have not seen him that alert and acting that normal in a very long time, like months. It doesn't happen that often.
Yep.
So
wow. Yeah.
When we pray, the violence, or whatever you do, pray, intend, meditate, all of it, or all three, and the midterms in 2022, we didn't have all the violence that we feared.
That's true. That's
and
very
we
true.
also did not have a red tsunami.
No. Yeah, and they were shocked. Remember how shocked all of them were? Yeah.
Well, because they were lying. Well, one of the reasons they were lying the whole time, but and they still are. But
yeah. Yeah.
This praying and meditating and intending is exponentially more powerful than we realize. So let's all just open our minds. I'm just asking for this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's all just open up our minds to, we are going to be absolutely fine.
Mm-hmm. We
We're
need
going
to
to be
do that.
absolutely fine.
Yeah.
To
The,
at
it, the,
least
yeah. The
create a
fear is
space.
not good. Yeah. Yeah. We don't need to be in fear. Yeah.
Create a space for it. When we do, I have Church of Spirituality every week, and we do spiritual mind treatment, which is an affirmative prayer. It's already done. Create an energetic space for that to be so. If we're all running around like chickens with our heads cut off, freaked out about what might happen, that's a story in our heads, for one thing.
Yes.
We're not contributing to the benefit of the whole. And, of course, it's normal to have fears, and we're in a very scary time. But
Yes.
let's at least create a space and visualize, what if it's peaceful? And I haven't heard anybody talking about the potential for this election to be peaceful. Not one person.
Right.
In fact,
Yep.
somebody last night on PNN said, an astrologer that I won't mention any names, said, this is the energy, this full moon in Aries is the energy of World War III. I'm like, shut up. Don't be saying that. To each his own, but there's no need to be throwing that in people's minds, and then not having room for, and then maybe we won't.
That's right.
As far as Kamala goes, the messages that she has to work with are so incredibly strong. It's a 9 of Wands. They're so incredibly strong that you'd have to be an idiot who's basically suicidal to not listen. You'd have to be an idiot who just doesn't value your life and the lives of your loved ones to not.
I agree. I totally agree.
And that's what she's using.
Mm-hmm.
And the Knight of Swords is, yes, she's got people around her and behind her that have it lined up. The prosecution of Donald Trump lined up how it's going to happen. Like when you held up the handcuffs when you're reading on her, I read that as, we all have our own interpretations, right? I read that as I as a prosecutor, she has a prosecutor brain. As a prosecutor, she knows he needs to be locked up.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
Nobody needs to be locked up in the entire universe more than Donald Trump. He stole our top secret documents and he gave them to Russia.
Yep.
Along with the COVID test. Maybe they came along in the same package.
Oh, right. Let's send a machine over to Putin when my own people are suffering. Yeah. Why doesn't that register with people? I don't know.
Well, know it's a cult when people have forgotten that.
That's right.
Yeah. And the Sun card is indicative of it's all going to be right out in the open.
Fabulous.
I feel like right now I'm getting a very strong impression that nothing will be hidden anymore about Trump.
I think we're going to find out. Yeah.
These investigative journalists, thank God for the press.
Yeah.
As bad as a job as they're doing sometimes. Mm-hmm. But the Sun card indicates it's all going to be out in the open. And this is a prosecutor.
Yeah.
This is the Knight. That's Jack Smith. That's the DOJ.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Jack Smith often comes up as a Knight of Swords.
He does. He's fabulous.
For you too?
Yeah, I love Jack. No, I don't use it, but I get a very strong card for him each and every time. Yeah.
Yeah.
He is he's wonderful at what he's doing. Yeah.
And that, for him, it's his life calling. I've always seen him as George Washington in the past.
Oh. Well, that wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
I don't know if it was his most recent past life, but I have seen that.
Uh-huh.
Trump is Mussolini. We all know that. I think we
all know God, that. Yes, absolutely. He has to be hung from his feet. Linda Bishop lives in Texas. She said she told a lady in Kroger about Project 2025. She didn't know. She was appalled and said she would look it up. Maybe she saved one more person. That's the way to do it. Yes.
If you want these cards All right, I'm going to tell
Oh,
people how to contact me because I've had like a couple thousand made up, and I
okay.
distributed them walking in the 4th of July parades.
Yes.
It says the danger of Christian nationalism, Project 2025 Presidential Transition Project. I just took that off the internet. On the
Okay.
back, I wrote, "It's up to us to save America from a dictatorship. Donald Trump promised to be a dictator on day one. Save our democracy now. Your freedoms depend on it." And the grassroots of democracy is there. I
Wonderful.
have, if you email me AnnetteDion7@gmail.com, I will send some to you.
Wonderful. All
I'll
right.
even pay the exorbitant fee that Louis DeJoy is
The
charging.
Louis DeJoy fee.
$6. $6 to send an envelope with just, it's not
Yeah.
very heavy at all.
I know. It doesn't
Fire
make sense.
DeJoy. You can go online, Google Fire DeJoy, and sign the petition. Everybody.
Everybody needs to do that. Yes, he needs to go. Val Demings is now on the committee. I thought that was going to get started really fast, that she was going to get rid of him, but I know things take time in politics.
Oh, right. Yeah, he'll go. It's just taken way longer than I.
Way too long. Yeah. I got a reading, one more reading I'd love to do before we are done today, if possible. And that is, I watched a clip of Colin Allred and Ted Cruz in a debate in Texas. And he's a congressman right now running for Ted Cruz's seat. And he brought up that Ted Cruz is the one that believes women should not be allowed to have abortions, that this and that. And then Colin Allred gave names of women.
Yeah.
It was extremely, and Ted's going, and I'm thinking, yes. So I would love to read about whether Colin might be able to take this. Yeah.
I'm already past that.
Are you? Okay. So you're getting,
Yeah.
he's going to win, Colin?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Are you surprised by that?
Only because Beto O'Rourke was a strong candidate.
Right.
And the thing that, and what's his name? Paxton in Texas dumped so many votes.
Okay.
That's the only reason.
Before we even found out about what Ken Paxton did, I got very strongly that Beto won that. So I guess the question is, can they suppress the vote enough? For me, the question is, can they suppress the vote enough, the shysters in Texas, to make Colin Allred not win? But energetically, he totally has that in the bag.
Okay.
Do you want to go first? That's my impression.
I got here that there is a vulnerability, but I don't trust the polls. I don't trust polls ever. And I actually don't trust Texas elections. So I think that's why a lot of people's shields are up. They're not sure that something's really going to happen. But then I get the light bulb, and it's like he's the more enlightened. Yeah, he's the one going to win. Yeah. And I get this for Ted Cruz. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo. He's going to.
What is that? I can't see anything.
It's a tear. It's a tear.
Oh,
it's
I thought
tears.
It was a ghost.
Yeah. It's tears.
A ghost might be appropriate too.
That's true. Linda, I didn't know Paxton was being looked at by a government agency, probably Justice Department. Good. I hope so.
Yeah, Paxton is not going to get away with what he's done, but there's just a delay in holding him accountable.
Right.
As far as Ted Cruz goes, what a POS. Oh my gosh. Anyway, they have this trademark thing, these MAGA idiots. The smirk.
Yes. Right.
And it just makes you want to go after them. Like MAGA Mike
Slap them silly. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And that condescending, and JD, they all have it, the smirk.
Yeah.
The condescending smirk as they steamroll people.
Absolutely.
And I've seen Ted Cruz was nervous, not nervous as like being up there, but nervous. Wow, this guy could really give me a run for my money, kind of nervous.
Right. That's what I felt too.
I'll pull 3 cards. Like he can't believe it could possibly happen.
I know. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
And there was more that Colin could have thrown at Ted Cruz, like how about Uvalde going to a gun, an NRA convention, not even a week, a couple days after the Uvalde massacre. That's where Ted Cruz was.
Yes, I know. I know.
Making a mockery of the protesters.
Yep, he was. He's awful. Rose Allen, I didn't know Cruz didn't answer any questions. Did you mean he did the weave like you know who, or he just didn't answer? I'd put it in there. I'd love to know. Anyway, go ahead.
I didn't watch it. I just saw a clip or two.
Right. Yeah.
Just all I needed to see.
I know. You don't have to
I don't
look.
know. I don't know
Yeah.
if Ted Cruz just like was mum the whole time.
Uh-huh.
So I'm reading on Colin. 5 of
Okay.
Pentacles, Hierophant, 9 of Pentacles. He has the money and the support behind him. And Ted Cruz does not. So Ted
Yep.
Cruz does not. Ted Cruz is being tapped financially.
Yep.
9 of Pentacles, Colin, after that debate, I don't know. I have to look it up. He might have had a huge inflow of money, of cash from supporters. The people in Texas are so angry at Ted Cruz.
Sure, they should be.
They cannot stand him.
Yeah.
And I think I saw that on Ted Cruz's face, that he started to realize maybe everybody doesn't like me. I mean, these people, they live in a bubble. They have their own little planet that they live on that's surrounded by a bubble. The Hierophant indicates the law wins, like the Constitution wins.
Great. Good news.
Yeah.
Good news. Interesting that Rose said that Cruz tap danced around every question, and then you came out and said that Cruz is being tapped for his money. And I just the word came out, and that was what was fascinating to me.
Oh, that's interesting because I can't see.
Yeah, I know you can't. No, she didn't see that at all. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's just being a psychic, right?
Right.
Should we do a final question?
Sure. We surely can. What do you want to ask?
Let me think. There's so much to ask about.
I know.
So much.
Yep.
Okay. I actually want to ask about, is this, well, I kind of have a feeling about this already, but is this that we're going through in the United States, is it going to result in us being better than ever?
Oh, there's a good question. And I like that it was positive. So yeah, let's read on it. Yeah.
This is all, and just to kind of, comment on that point. This is all because the vibrational frequency on the planet is accelerating, and that means, I can probably answer my own question, but I want to look at some cards too. All this tumult has to happen.
Yep, it does. No, I agree with you. I do. I agree 100%.
It's just part of it. It's just part of it. You want to pull 3 cards?
It is.
Pull some cards?
Yeah. Yes. So, the first card I pulled is what's going on in before the election. Okay, and we're seeing it. It's fangs. It's energy sucking, emotional draining, and negative people. We've been living in this for 10 years, really, but it's right now it's worse, and it's going to get worse, according to Annette. But there will be a transformation. The butterfly transforms from the and so we need to expect change and new beginnings in personal growth, and our country has these changes. What we need to make sure that we do is there will be people that don't want to change because they want to go back. They want to make America great again. It's already great. What are you talking about? But there will be some resistance still. I still think that most people are going to really understand this energy and go with it. But we have to stop being worried. Don't be worried, because being worried doesn't change anything. We have to keep that butterfly momentum up. We've got to keep up the fact that things are transforming and they're going to get better. We have to believe in that.
Yeah, and it's not necessary to look at change as a bad thing, but it seems to be what people fear the most.
True. That's true.
And also 3 times last night at the start of my show, I was getting that we need to all be meditating and getting
Yeah.
quiet. I mean, I started out by saying we've got to be in nature, we've got to be in peaceful time, and then I pulled a card from the Moonology deck that said the exact same thing, and I pulled a rune card that said exactly the same thing. It's like 3 times the charm, right? Three
Mhm,
times is a
mhm.
charm.
Yes, it is.
So, how, when you get a message 3 times, it's like maybe I should pay attention to
Got to
that.
really listen, and it's for everybody too. That's the
Worry,
way I look at it. Yeah. Mhm.
and worry is like, yeah, it was the message was for the collective. Worry is like praying for something bad to happen in a certain way. Like I was
Yeah.
saying earlier, it's like putting energy into the bad thing that you're so afraid is going to happen without putting energy into what good thing could happen.
That's true, Annette. And I always like worry is paying a debt for something that hasn't happened. So you're
Yeah.
paying the debt. You're feeling it in your body. Nobody else is out. People are walking by you and everything else. And so go ahead, hon.
But we are programmed that way. We're programmed
Yeah,
to
we are.
worry.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
tell mothers especially, I say, are you really going to worry about your child, or do you want to pray for your child? Which one? I
Right.
mean, pray
Yeah.
for something wonderful to happen for your child. Pray that your child's protected. What's more useful?
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
as far as what we're going through, yeah, we're going that we will win this.
Hmm.
I have the Star and the King of Wands. We'll win. We will win this,
We will. Mhm.
but it's not going to be easy.
Right. Right.
But I think that that's what we're in right now. The Ten of Swords is like the most painful, even more than the Three of Swords. Obviously, it's a higher
Right.
number, but
Yeah.
this is like, it's not going to be without pain and loss.
Right. Yep.
But what epic in history can we look at that just kind of, we just flowed from one reality into the
Yeah.
other?
Whoops. And she flowed out and flowed back in. Did you notice that?
Maybe it's not
You
just
went out and
maybe.
came back. There you
Maybe
go.
I know I saw that. Maybe this solar flare is going on or something. Because now I'm on my phone, which is a different kind of
It's okay. It's
connection.
fun. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
And no, it's really there's some real intense energies
There
out there.
is.
So the Star
Yeah.
is the United States, and the
Yes,
King of Wands is a strong message.
it is. You're absolutely right. But anything that's worth it takes time, and that I think that's why I got the card I did. In that, we have to be prepared to do the work. Yes, but we need to be prepared to do the work, and that's any relationship. You have to do the work. You can't survive without being able to do it if you want to have a good relationship. So makes
Right.
sense.
I think
Yeah.
the word work. I think the word work scares people. It's
Oh,
gonna
I
be
know.
hard.
I know. Yeah. I know.
But I would like to just encourage people to be inspired by all the miracles that we've seen.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
a miracle that we're still a democracy. Let's start there.
There you go.
That's a miracle.
It
It's a
is a miracle.
miracle that Biden did what he did
Yes.
in the
And that
40
Kamala
almost 4
jumped
years.
in and was able to do what she's done in 2
It's
months.
it's
It's
even a
amazing.
miracle. June
Yeah.
27th, that debate, that was
Yeah.
even a miracle
It was. You're
between
right.
Biden and Trump. So
Yeah.
let's just keep going with miracles, shall we?
That's right. We have to queue up. I believe in miracles.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
many years ago, A Course in Miracles had a slogan. I had a little bumper sticker that said, "Expect miracles." Let's expect miracles
Let's do that. Let's do that. Wow. Beautiful. Well, everybody, thank you for being with Annette and I today. Annette,
on this
thank you.
fiery day.
Fiery day.
Fiery day.
Make sure you put your crystals out tonight for the full moon. And yeah, enjoy the beautiful energy of the moon. I know it can
Yeah.
create craziness in some regard, but it also brings us beautiful, beautiful things.
And
So,
whatever's going on, it will just be magnified. So keep it positive.
yeah, don't try not to rush to anger. That's what I'm seeing in the chat.
Right.
Absolutely, I agree
Take
with
a
you.
deep breath and
Take a
go, I
deep
don't have
breath.
to be angry.
That's right. All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you again
Thank
soon.
you. I
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed hanging out. We'll
I
do it
loved
again.
having you. Yeah. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks, Aley. Bye.
Thank you, Annette.